with us we have a guy that had the audacity, how dare you, to put an open letter out to Mr. Plenković, the Croatian Prime Minister. And he basically said, like, hey, mate, this is what you need to change. And fast forward a couple of months, and now we're looking at Croatia creating a digital nomad visa. And there aren't many countries in the world doing that. I'll let Jan tell you a bit more about that. Because his main goal was to put Croatia back on the map, although I don't really know if it's back on the map, because we already have great history, great food, we have tall, strong, attractive women and men, and we have an amazing language that's just so easy to learn, right?
So easy.
Yeah. Along with all of these sites that you've heard of up and down the coast. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Mr. Jan de Jong now, who will tell us more about the Digital Nomad Visa and a few announcements, I believe.
Thank you so much for having me, first of all, and welcome all to beautiful Dubrovnik. Not only the ones that are here physically present, but also the ones that are watching us through a live stream. I would like to start by thanking Tanya and Paul for pulling this event together, despite of all the challenges, logistical challenges as a result of COVID-19. Coming back to COVID-19, I memean, obviously this had a devastating effect worldwide, but for a country like Croatia that depends for some 20% of its GDP on incoming tourism, we can pretty much say that this crippled the local economy. And it was around the time that we all had to go into lockdown. I was being asked to participate in a virtual conference. It was called Tourism 5.0, and I was going to get the question that we have been trying to answer here for a long time, which is, what can we do to turn Croatia into a year-round destination? So I said yes to be participant in the panel, but I had to be very honest to myself. I don't know anything about tourism. So what I did is I actually called up a very good friend of mine, Paul Bradbury, the owner of Total Croatian News, covering this event, by the way, today. And I asked him, Paul, you have been writing about tourism all this time. So if you would be so kind to send me some articles that I can then read, with a little bit of luck, I might even sound smart at the virtual conference Tourism 5.0. So Paul sent me over some articles. And I remember that the evening before the virtual conference, I was reading all that. And all of a sudden, my eyes fell on three words: digital nomad tourism. And I thought by myself, yes, this is what we need to do as a country. If we are receiving every year 20 million tourists, if we are opening up our borders for 20 million tourists, then why would we not open up our borders for digital nomads? So I started initially promoting this on LinkedIn, promoting Croatia as a great destination to be visited by digital nomads, to be working from here, but for foreign companies. And those posts on LinkedIn, they simply exploded. Altogether, the posts on the topic of digital nomad tourism in Croatia, just on my LinkedIn, have been seen by have had more than 1.2 million views. And one Saturday morning, I woke up and I thought by myself, you know what? I'm just going to write an open letter to our Prime Minister, Mr. Andrej Plenković. And again, with so much support, even probably with support from some of you here in the audience, this post again took off, more than 5,000 likes and hundreds of thousands of views. And very soon after that, I actually got invited to meet with the Ministry of Interior. And there was one person responsible for the legal part within the Ministry of Interior. And she told me during the first meeting that since they were anyway going to make some changes to the Alien Act, the Act on Foreigners, that they even thought it would be possible to make these kind of changes rather fast. So that was, of course, a very happy surprise to me as well. Soon after, I met with the Prime Minister, and he told me during that meeting that he believes that this is where the world is going to, that more and more people will start working remote, that more and more companies are going to be open to the idea of having people work fully remote, and that we as a country should be among the first countries in the world to start welcoming digital nomads by regulating their stay. Followed by a tweet from the Prime Minister himself, where he said that Croatia was going to regulate staying permits for digital nomads. And that ultimately turned us into the 5th country in the world and the 2nd one in Europe after Estonia to make such a commitment by actually introducing a digital nomad visa for Croatia. Now, currently, I'm working very hard with about 5 ministries on preparing the complete legal framework. That includes Ministry of Labor, Finance, Interior. It includes Health Insurance Institute, pension funds, and also the Ministry of Tourism, who obviously also sees a great opportunity in all this. Knowing that this is all moving into the right direction, the deadline for ourselves here, and including for high-level officials at the government, is that we deliver the complete legal framework until the end of this year. And because this is all moving into the right direction, even though we might be the 5th country in the world to introduce a visa like this, I also wanted to be the first one in the world with one other thing. And that is why, together with Tanya and Carmela, who unfortunately is not able to attend today's event, she's watching on the live stream though, so hey, Carmela, we are in fact founding a Digital Nomad Association here in Croatia. There's the logo, wonderful. This all became way bigger for a few individuals to start continuing with this digital nomad visa. And knowing that we are heading towards the point where we are going to start receiving the first digital nomads to actually come to Croatia, we believe that it was going to be very important that we're going to be organizing ourselves to make sure that digital nomads are being well received here in this amazing country. So what we plan to do as a Digital Nomad Association is to make sure that digital nomads, people that want to come here, but also the people that are already here, that they have all the information accessible to them, what they need to know, how to apply for your visa, and what do you need to know once you're in the country. We also would like to organize all kinds of events and to make sure that there's really a community being built. We want to help them to temporarily integrate within the Croatian society. We want to involve them in terms of education. So, for example, for digital nomads, to give guest lectures to schools, high schools, universities, but also at businesses. Because aside from the fact that they are a great potentially new revenue stream for Croatia, they can actually help us to also change our mindset in this country. And it's going to be amazing, for example, for younger people in this country to get to know men and women that grew up in Silicon Valley and to learn their perspective of the world. What we also plan to do is to introduce a certification process for companies that wish to provide products and services to digital nomads, and to basically identify by doing so which companies are digital nomad friendly companies. Last but not least, we also, because this is all new to everybody, worldwide it's also new for countries to start adopting such regulations. So along the way, we will most likely get to find out certain pain points within the legislation. And what we see as a role of the association is that we become the bridge between the digital nomads and the government, so that when we identify those pain points, that we can ring the bell at the government and say like, hey, we need to start making certain adjustments where needed. So I would like to thank so many people. I mean, first of all, everybody that has been supporting me for the past few months to get to the point where we are right now. There's still a lot of work to do, but with everybody's support, your support, the government's support, I'm very convinced that by the end of this year, we will have the complete legal framework in place. This is for me also the opportunity to thank some individuals and some companies that have already significantly contributed to everything that we have been doing until now. That includes Adriatic Luxury Hotels for hosting us here in Dubrovnik. The Dutch Embassy was already mentioned for helping us with this event. For United Agency for making this amazing digital nomad agency association visual identity. For the company Human based in Zagreb for helping us with the website for the Digital Nomad Association. For the company Links for providing us with laptops and docking stations and everything that we would be needing for people working in the association to do their job every day, of course, from the home office. For Hrvatski Telekom, Croatian Telecom, and especially Kostas Nebis, the president of Croatian Telecom, for being among the first people to reach out to me and offering me his full support, and not only his, but also of the largest telecom company in the country, so that jointly we can make sure that Croatia becomes a hotspot for digital nomads within Europe. I would also like to thank the city of Dubrovnik for opening up their doors and for hosting us here today, especially, of course, the mayor, Mato Frankovic, and also the deputy mayor, Jelka Tepšić. Thank you so much for having us here. I would also like to thank Frane Matušić, who is the State Secretary for Political Affairs. Thank you so much for representing the government here today. And last but not least, also the Tourism Board of Dubrovnik. Anna, thank you so much. And once again, thank you for all your support. There's still a lot of work to be done, but with your push in my back, I'm sure that we're going to make it happen. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Jan. We've got a question and answer session now. So if anyone has a question for Jan, feel free to put your hand up and ask. For those of you joining us virtually, feel free to send a message as well, and I'll be pinged the messages on here. So if anyone has a question here, feel free to put your hand up, shout it out. If not, then I have loads of questions for you, Jan. So any questions from the crowd, first of all? Okay, I'll ask a question. Jan, tell me. So people generally, you know, when it comes to creating such a big thing, changing the law, yeah, you said that hopefully this is going to be done by the end of the year. That's the goal now, right? And if that all goes according to plan, when could somebody, for example, get the first digital nomad visa?
I mean, the focus is that as soon as the whole legal framework is in place, that actually people should be able to apply online, so only digitally. That's the idea. I would say that as soon as this law has therefore been changed and approved, of course, by Parliament, that very soon after, and I'm hoping myself in Q1 next year, that the first digital nomads could be applying for their temporary staying permit.
Brilliant. Okay, yeah. Cool. And can you kind of give us a bit of a profile about what kind of digital nomads you expect to come to Dubrovnik or Croatia?
I mean, Croatia is a country that offers a lot, many different things. I mean, obviously, cities like Osijek have a complete different proposition than cities like Dubrovnik. But that's actually, I think, one of the reasons why Croatia is such an amazing place for a digital nomad to come. So that within that one single country, you can experience all different kind of flavors of one country. So you can one day be in Dubrovnik, the next month you can be somewhere in Istria, you can go and visit small Vienna, as they say, Zagreb, mm-hmm. or you can continue driving to Osijek. There's a lot of things to see here.
Okay, so there won't be one profile, but people that want to explore and things.
I mean, you can, if you are a digital nomad and you're really very passionate about hiking, you will find everything you want to find here. At the same time, if you are totally into surfing or you want to enjoy ancient towns, then Croatia offers that too. So it's for a very diverse group of people, I would say.
Perfect. And obviously, with anything like this, you being an entrepreneur and a father, challenges may lie ahead. Are there any big challenges that you foresee, or?
Nothing in particular. I mean, life by itself is a challenge, but that makes it interesting. And you said I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a father. At the same time, I'm also a husband, obviously, and my wife offers me all the support that I need in order to do the things that I'm doing.
I didn't want to say you're a husband and then say challenges, because she might beat me up afterwards.
No. She's cool with everything. Yes.
Okay, excellent, good. And can you tell us a bit? A few people may not have heard your story. You didn't move here as a digital nomad as such, but kind of that first year of you moving here and kind of your thought process you went through.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, I obviously came from the Netherlands, a country where I would say that the culture over there is definitely different than here in Croatia. But that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. I wanted to expose myself to different cultures, and I wanted to try out my luck in a different country. And all the way in the beginning, I always wanted to live when I was a lot younger, I wanted to live the American dream, so to say. I wanted to go to the United States. But as I grew a little older, I started honestly disliking the United States more and more, and I decided to go to Croatia. So now I'm living the Croatian dream.
Perfect, thanks. I'm just getting through a few things here. First of all, is there a website, a URL that people can start looking at the Digital Nomad Association website yet?
Not yet, working on it.
Working
yes.
on it. Do we have a date?
Oof.
Deadlines, come on.
I mean, the first thing that we're going to do is, because there's obviously still a lot of information missing, because simply the government needs to provide that information at the end once decisions have been made. So the first thing that we will do is we will make a landing page where you can leave your email address, and we're going to, of course, keep everybody informed through a newsletter on all the latest developments through that newsletter. Yeah.
Perfect, cool. A few other questions coming through. How can you get in contact in the future with the Digital Nomad Association or you in order to provide such services for digital nomads? So if a Croatian company wants to provide a service, how do they get in touch with you or someone?
The first thing that we will do, of course, once we have the website up and running, I will definitely share these kind of things through my LinkedIn. So I can suggest follow me on LinkedIn, and you will be the first ones to know when we are going live with this website. Then you leave your email address over there, and over time, everything should be there on the website, and we should be able to provide a lot of clarity for people, for companies that want to start providing services to digital nomads here in Croatia.
Okay, perfect. We're getting loads and loads of questions through. We might not be able to answer all of them now, but we'll keep answering them until we've run out of time.
We'll talk fast.
We have someone who says, thank you, Jan. When the Dutch spirit meets Croatian potentials, it's a pleasure to be a part of this innovative, daring, and enabling initiative. And then there's a lovely question. Does Croatia propose to deal with tax, healthcare, and similar considerations for digital nomads?
I mean, these are obviously still very sensitive topics.
Yeah.
There is no one answer to it yet. What I did is, because when we were meeting with all those different ministries, actually the only ministry that had really a difficult time answering questions was the Ministry of Finance. So what I did is I organized a meeting with a gentleman called Dimitri. And Dimitri was ex-deputy general at the Ministry of Finance in Estonia. And Dimitri and his team were actually back then responsible for answering all the tax-related questions for the Estonian digital nomad visa. So when we organized this virtual meeting, Dimitri had an opportunity there to basically share with us everything that they've done in Estonia, so that we could learn from that. And after that, there was another approximately altogether 1 hour for our Ministry of Finance here in Croatia to fire away questions to Dimitri to get all the answers. Right now, the Ministry of Finance, including the top management of that ministry, are working on certain proposals. At the same time, they have been very busy with this dual taxation with the United States right now. Yeah. So they had a tough deadline there. And I was supposed to have a meeting with them this week on Wednesday. And that meeting has been postponed to next week on Thursday at 10 o'clock. So that's going to be a very exciting meeting, because I hope also myself to learn a lot more about what they have decided and what are they going to come up with, so to say. Yeah.
Brilliant. Perfect. I could answer this, but I'm going to let you answer it. Which sites do we need to monitor in order to have the latest information regarding digital nomads and digital nomad visa in Croatia?
Which websites?
Yeah.
Well, very soon, of course, the one from the Digital Nomad Association. As soon as that one is live, we will definitely announce it. Other than that, I mean, I will also talk with Ministry of Tourism, because honestly, I think that this is the right ministry that should promote digital nomad tourism here in Croatia. So we will definitely make efforts to speak with the Minister of Tourism for her to maybe prepare a special section on their website where you can find all the information that you need to know as a digital nomad.